Erasing all my flaws. What the fuck's a loss? Erasing all my flaws. What the fuck's a loss? Erasing all my flaws. What the fuck's a loss? Bitch, I've been a dog. I gave it to the cause. OD at the name. My gang too raw. We don't fuck with lanes. We got mad sauce. What's good, you guys? It's your boy KT, and I'm here with episode 4 of Who is KTGODUMB? Who is the man behind the brand? The man that goes dumb. That's me. So, we're on episode 4. So, in my last episode, I opened up really about the drama and just, I would say, events that happened that kind of, I won't say inspired, but definitely motivated me musically, motivated me to speak out about my experiences, I dubbed it the bitch in the asshole, but yeah, I talked about that and really just how it affected me, how dealing with those situations, it affected my thinking, it affected my trust on people, not even just them, but like everybody, men, women, etc. So this episode is going to cover a little bit more of what it was like navigating, being alone or restarting my life, and then what it meant to find people that were really meant for me. So where did I leave off? I think the last time I left off, I had told y'all I got in a fight at Amazon. I lost my job, and really that was the moment where I started looking at those people in my life, and I really, like, it finally settled to me, like, these people aren't for me. Not even the fact that bro didn't really want to fight me, in my opinion. I think he just wanted to be tough, but he doesn't want to actually be tough, if that makes sense. But I definitely was just looking at him differently, and I'm just like, you're not the person that you think you are or that you're portraying. But I digress. So by this time, I will say, like, I'm not talking to my ex because it's no reason to talk to her. I'm not talking to him, my ex-friend or my old friend, because, well, he doesn't want to talk to me. He wants to fight. Everybody else, I'm not talking to anybody from that old friend group because either, they just had nothing to say about it, or they really just were just instigating, Like the middleman I told you guys about, he was somebody who, I kind of clung to, or I looked to for support, or at least as a friend. And it took me a minute to realize it's like he was just taking advantage of the opportunity. He felt that he had power over me, so he was taking advantage of that. Same with the other dude. That's why I'm like, yeah, birds of a feather flock together. So I can't hang out with people like that. I can't be friends with somebody who plays middleman, who they're cool with somebody that they know I have problems with, but then they're trying to be cool with me too. And then they're running back and forth trying to relay messages. Like, that's lame. And that doesn't really help anybody. So I guess I would say, like, for me, it was one thing to lose people, and it really sucked because I lost people that I thought were, my friends. I wish nothing for the best for them. You know, I've always been ambitious. I've always been the one to say, like, hey, like, if whatever I do makes it big, I'm gonna make sure you get blessed. I like to bless my friends, but I was trying to bless the wrong friends. So a lot of that was just learning how to be alone. Not only learning how to be alone, but also really learning what it was that I enjoyed, what it was that motivated me, what was I truly passionate about. It's not like I didn't have an idea. I mean, I love playing football. I'm not gonna lie. I love playing the sport. I really wanted to make it to the NFL, but I lost passion. I was really big into sneakers. I lost passion. A lot of the things that I was into, like in high school, I lost passion for in college. And a lot of that, I say it's because I was hanging around the wrong people. I was hanging around people who you know, not the football part, but I would just say like, things I genuinely enjoyed, whether it's video games or just comic books and just stuff like that. I felt like the people I were around, they kind of looked at me and discussed like, that's what you doing? You should be doing this, you should be doing that. Or, I was just around people that didn't look like me, if that makes sense. They might have looked like me, but they didn't feel like me. And that was something I realized I had to differentiate. Can't speak. I had to learn to realize who was a friend and who was an associate, and then who really doesn't fuck with me. And, those events that I talked about in the last episode was a very, very, I started looking at people differently. I started looking at everybody with a crooked eye. And I don't think I should have looked at everybody that way. I'll admit now, like, I was in a place of hurt, so no, I couldn't trust anybody, but I should have at least tried to open up to somebody. But I was so embarrassed by what happened. I mean, I was just super embarrassed by what happened. Like, I just felt like, the way I handled the whole situation, I just felt like, I'll be honest, like, I felt like it made me less of a man because I reacted emotionally. You know, part of me feels like I should have just went in there guns blazing. I should have been swinging on him. A part of me is like, well, you shouldn't have been crying about it. But what I learned is that, I was really hurt. Like, it doesn't matter. I consider those people my friends, and they betrayed me. They hurt me. So I can't I can't just let shit slide lightly. I can't just, like, I'm looking at everything crooked because people I considered close betrayed me. Even my ex-girlfriend betrayed me in a way. I mean, she left me in a fucked up situation. So my phone's gonna die. Can't have that. So really, it was an emotional low point, but being alone, I really got to learn more about myself, even more than I realized. Because, I feel like I had myself figured out in high school. And I got to college and I realized I still got a ways to go. And, me being alone, like I said, I spent a lot of time hotboxing. I probably shouldn't have, but I spent a lot of that time listening to music, making music. And really, through that music, I slowly started to rediscover the things in my life that I loved. Like I said, like I was saying earlier, I was passionate about football, and, the passion died out. I realized the NFL dream wasn't it. So I kind of transferred that energy into music. So music dreams, NFL dreams, same thing. Um, I started playing the game more. I started really playing different video games because I'll be honest, like, I was playing a lot of multiplayer games. Like, I wasn't playing, I didn't have friends to play games with, so I was playing a lot of single player games, but I was seeing more enjoyment out of games. Because I would say, like, when I got older, I started looking into I started seeing things at a deeper level. That's the thing with that reset. Life may have reset, but I was able to perceive life and the world from a deeper perspective. So, and like, I'll even say, like, because when all this started, I wasn't in school at first, or I tried to go to school, and honestly, like, I don't know, I was really going through it. I didn't last a month. So I dropped out, and then I went back in the fall. So why I dropped out after being there for a month, I don't know. But I decided to go back to school. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I've always been a school kid. Like, I've always been somebody where education is important. I try to do my best. I try to succeed. Like, I don't take school, lightly. I take it somewhat serious. Now, I'm not saying I'm a valedictorian, straight A student. No, but like, I will give you my best effort. When I came back to college that fall, it's almost like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like the teachers were really teaching. Not that they weren't teaching before, but it's like I understood what was being taught. I understood, I was able to pick up on certain things, whereas in the past, like, I don't know if I don't know what I was thinking or what I was doing, but I really started to think deeper into what was being taught. Mind you, this is my junior year in college, you know. I'm taking deeper classes as well. Like, I will always remember. I'm gonna be honest, like, one of my favorite classes was sports law, you know. And it's crazy because a lot of people, I remember a lot of people in that class hated that class. You know, they didn't like doing the paperwork, they didn't like the schoolwork. You know, everybody was complaining, but you know, to me, I'm like, this is pretty cool. It's like I'm training to be a lawyer, you know. And that's how I looked at it, because I mean, that's valuable information. So I definitely was able to pick up on what was valuable, what valuable information is being taught to me now. I wish I had that epiphany like a year or two before, because if I did, I would have did so much more in college. But that's besides the point. Boom, I started getting back into school again because that's what was important. You know, I feel like a lot of the times, you know, I got caught up in that hustle culture. You know, I got caught up in hustle culture. You know, granted, I still preach stuff about, you know, hustling, motivation, grinding. Like, I think that stuff is necessary. It's valid, but what I mean is I got caught up with folks in Forex, you know, saying, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. I got caught up trying to be an entrepreneur. Granted, I'm making music and I'm thinking to myself, I need to be an entrepreneur to succeed. I need to be an entrepreneur to make money. And even the people around me, they were in Forex, they were trying to be entrepreneurs. And it's just like, if y'all know them Forex people was, they were a bunch of jokes, bro. And then they would call you lame if you ain't believe in that. So it's like, it didn't help. But then, you know, just the people I was around, you know, they didn't they didn't have the same idea of education as me. So because of that, I just started thinking, you know, I don't know if education is the way for me. That was the furthest thing from the truth. You know, it was the furthest thing from the truth. I had to realize that I have to move on my own timing. I can't be moving on other people's timing. You know, what works for one person might not work for me, and same vice versa. So that's why I started taking school more seriously. And it's like, I'll be honest, like, was I making a lot of friends? No. I'll be honest, like, I wasn't talking to anybody. Like I said, I had very low trust for people, and I refused to be vulnerable like that again. You know, I didn't want to embarrass myself like I did with the last friend group, and then I already felt embarrassed about the whole situation. So I kind of stayed to myself. And I will say, it's like, did a lot of people really approach me? No, not a lot of people approached me. Some did. Some tried to have conversation here and there. Some people were nice, but other people, I just feel like, you know, they couldn't read my mind. They didn't understand me, and you know, they had opinions about me, or they treated me a certain way because, you know, they didn't understand me. I was misunderstood. You know, part of it's on me, but part of it also, I feel like people chose to misunderstand me. I don't think I'm too complicated. I just don't talk about it a lot. I don't speak on it a lot. But I don't think I'm that complicated. I think if you actually speak to me, you can understand a lot about me. But not everybody wants to speak like that, and it's cool. So when I finally found my people, it's funny. So shout out to my boy Keyzone. Big shout out to my boy Keyzone here. So I believe, what year was it? 2022? Yeah. Honestly, I think this was either around the time or right after that fight at Amazon happened. But I will say, you know, my homie Key, like, we like this. Like, that's a day one homie right there. But it's always funny because I would just remember, like, he followed me on Instagram and he would just always ask me, like, yo, you want a match? You want a link? Did I swear, like, this dude asked me for like 2, 3 months straight. And every time, like, I was just kind of looking at it, and it's like, I ain't gonna lie, you know, and I hope I don't offend him if he's listening to this, but like, I thought, I'll be honest, it's like, I thought bro was on some shit. I thought that was some gay stuff. It's like, me personally, it's just like, what do I look like as a grown man asking another grown man to link up and shit? Mind you, I don't have friends, so it's like, it's not like I had anybody to ask to link up. But like, I don't know, I was kind of just side-eyeing him, like, what are you on? What are you doing? So after months of him asking me, you know, I just figured I really had to look at myself. I'm like, well, it's not like I have anybody else I'm hanging with, and this guy, you know, he's taking the time to try to kick it with me, smoke with me, and like, learn about me. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me give him a chance. And honestly, I'm so grateful for that, because that is one of my best friends to this day. Like, I'll say, like, that's somebody we clicked on we clicked instantly on our first link up. We stoners, we smoke. That's cool and all, but we started talking about a bunch of different things. He started talking about how he's a content creator. I started talking about me being a producer. We started talking about wrestling. We started talking about a whole bunch of different things, and it's just like he was cool. He was a cool person. He had nothing but good intentions and good vibes for me, and that was a breath of fresh air. Because compared to the last group of people I was fucking with, that was a breath of fresh air. And it's like, that was my guy. So I made a friend. I made a genuine friend, a day one friend. So, and then a few months later, I ended up meeting another genuine true friend, my other day one. So, and I'm pretty sure I brought him up. I think I brought him up on these episodes before. I might not have, but my guy, LJ, he goes by Cloud now. Cleveland folks knew him as Spazzo. That was like I consider him my first real musical friend. Now, Ty was a musical friend, but I don't know. I look at Ty more as a mentor figure than, I mean, he is my friend too. Don't get me wrong, but I look at him more as a mentor figure than like an artist friend. LJ, he was my artist friend. And it's crazy with him because he wasn't even making music at the time. He actually said he discovered me. He discovered me and he discovered a couple of other people in our collective just looking up hashtags, just looking up hashtag Cleveland artists. And he said he wound up on one of my beats. And he was just like, oh, he saw potential in me. So it's funny. Originally, we were supposed to do an interview. He was going to interview me, which is ironic, because he's doing interviews now. So I think it's a full circle moment. But interview never fell through. So I think I just ended up pulling up on him. Well, actually, no, before I got there, because he had called me, because he had hit me up a couple times, and I mean, I wasn't sure how serious he was, because it's like he would hit me up and be like, let's do this, and then it would be silence. So I was just like, I just shrugged my shoulders until he actually called me one day and he talked to me about, what his motives were, what his plans were, this and that. And, I really got to learn a lot more about him through that phone call. And that's when I really learned, like, me and him, what's the word for it? Our ideal, that's not the right word. Damn, I need to pick up at the source or something. Damn, what's the word? Basically, we align. Like, our ideas and our thoughts, our mentality is aligned. Because, he was somebody too. He said he wanted to be able to help and uplift, aspiring artists like me, like my homegirl Kidda. I'm pretty sure like Katana. People in the ODF group, like I credit him for bringing us together, So, and I'll be honest, like LJ Key too, but LJ been a real friend. I mean, both of them, LJ and Key were like, they have been real friends to me. Like, I haven't had to hold back. I haven't had to I've never felt embarrassed for expressing myself to them. I've never felt embarrassed if, I'm fucking, like, trust me. It's been times I called either one of them all emotional, whether it's over some relationship, whether it's some bullshit going on, whether I'm just pissed off and mad and I need somebody to vent to. They've been people that listen to me, and they allow me to vent. They allow me to do all those things. And they also tell me what I need to hear. Not what I want to hear, but what I need to hear. And honestly, like, I really I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that I have friends that give a fuck about me. I have friends that aren't trying to do me dirty or that don't keep me around for strategic reasons. They keep me around because they have genuine love for me and that they want me to win. I appreciate them for that. Like, I tell them this all the time, but those two boys really, those two guys really pulled me out of a dark place. I mean, I tell LJ all the time, I'm like, I don't know what I'd be doing with music if you hadn't showed up. I don't. Guys like him, they motivate me to keep going. Guys like Key, they motivate me to keep going. And you know why they also motivate me? Key is a content creator. And I'm telling you, like, Key is one of the most consistent, he is the most consistent content creator I've seen. Since I met him 2, 3 years ago, I swear he's always been posting content. He's always on it. He's not one of these people who take a hiatus for a couple months and then no. Like, he will post something damn near every day. You will see one post of his every week. And he's just been doing this consistently for years to the point now I feel like he's blowing up now. Like, I'm seeing his numbers skyrocket. I'm seeing him get all these collabs. Like, that motivates me. Do you know what it does to see your homie living out his dreams, doing everything, doing the things he told you he would do? And then he's like blossoming from it's an amazing feeling to see your friends win. And like I love seeing my friends win. I always tell Key, I'm like, bro, like, keep going. You consistent. Like, he motivates me. He inspires me because of how consistent he is. And then LJ, he definitely helped me a lot with music. I think y'all know that. He definitely helped me learn. Well, he helped me become a better artist and he helped me become a better producer. You know, he was somebody that, like, he was in my corner. He was trying to push off my music to people. Like I said, he wasn't even making music at first. He was just trying to help push my music, help push other people's music off. And, you know, some people took it, some people didn't. But I was definitely able to meet a lot of dope artists because of him. And I was able to work with a lot of dope artists because of him. And honestly, I selfishly say, sometimes I feel like I'm the reason he started making music again. But that's what I wanted to do. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I set a goal for myself. I'm like, because I listened to LJ's music and it was tough. Like, honestly, me and his sound are comparable. It's comparable, although he has his thing he does. Our sounds were comparable, and it's just like I always thought like he was dope, and I would tell him, I'm like, bro, like, these songs are hard. I need this song, I need that song, this and that, whatever. Like, he still had it. I mean, we were able to. I mean, he did start dropping again. And honestly, like, I'll say, shout out to my boy Spazzle real quick. Check out his Lunar EP. Look up Spazzle the artist or just Spazzle, Spazzo, and look up Lunar. Those 3 songs, goated, bro. That is my favorite out. That's my favorite project. Those are my favorite songs from him. Granted, he has a couple of songs I like. His 6th song is nice, but the Lunar EP, that's what I recommend y'all listen to. So I even went to LA for the first time with both of them. Like, it's been a lifelong dream to go to Cali. And I went with my real friends, my homies. Like, that was a great feeling. It was a great feeling. Like, I might drop the video in here. Like, it was just a video. Like, I got drunk in LA. It's like I was just so happy dancing. I felt like a dog on Zoomies. But like, when I tell y'all that first trip to LA with all of them, like, that was probably the happiest I had been in years. Because I was with people I love and people that loved me back. I was with people that respected me. And on top of that, you know, it motivated me. I was extremely motivated. I think I made like 10 beats in like 3 days. 3 days. Like, that's a lot of beats to make in 3 days. So it was a very high moment, you know, after just being in a very low place, you know, a few years prior. I just appreciate those people that came into my life. And, you know, while I'm here, you know, I can shout out to Curtis, my cameraman. Any video y'all see is shot by my man Kurt. Shout out to him. He's definitely been a real one. Shout out to Niathena. She's been my engineer. Dope artist. Dope rock star. Check her out. Shout out to Katana. Dope pop artist. Shout out to all the ODF. Shout out to my boy Najair. That translates to Little Star. That's my boy. I wish you didn't get rid of all your music, but you my boy still. I fuck with you. I appreciate these people that came into my life because they allowed me to realize my value. And that was the biggest thing that I was lacking this whole time, realizing what my true value was and then allowing other people who didn't love me or didn't care for me tell me what my value was, you know? So if anything, sometimes you got to realign. Sometimes you have to find the right people that are for you, because the wrong people, they will have you losing passion. I mean, I'm telling y'all, I lost passion in sneakers. I lost passion with video games at a point. I lost passion in the things that I loved because other people felt I should have been something else. Now, sometimes you do have to change, but ask yourself, is this change really benefiting me? Is the change really beneficial? I would definitely say, like, make sure you have the right group of people around you, friends, family, team, lovers, whoever. That matters. It matters. It can make or break you. It almost made or broke me. So all I can say is, I'm eternally grateful for those people. I'm eternally grateful that they came into my life and that, they showed me a different way. They showed me that, you know, they showed me the value that I provide, and they showed me that I am worthy. I'm worthy of love, but I'm worthy of all these things that I aspire to be, or all these things that I'm chasing. I'm worthy of that. And I'm telling y'all, find people that make you feel worthy. Find people that make you feel loved. And with that, that's my episode. I think this is the shortest episode. Yeah, I try not to go too deep into a yap session because I feel like I have a tendency to do that. But if any of my friends are watching this, I want y'all to know I love you. I appreciate y'all. And I wish the world for all of y'all. I wish the world for y'all. Y'all are my people. I love y'all for life. With that being said, this is episode 4 of Who is KTGODUMB? And I will see y'all next time. The album's coming soon, y'all. So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout.
Yeah. Raindrops running down the window. Headphones on, I drift away. Another world inside my earbuds, where all my dreams felt miles away. Every road led me somewhere. Every heart left something there. The things I kept became who I am. I keep it on my memory card.